Declan Rice has left West Ham United Football Club. Lucas Paqueta may be following in his footsteps. That's two of our probably most important players making headway this season. And we're basically not left with Jarrod Bowen, but Jarrod Bowen remains our most important player, I would argue. We started off this season well with a goal. It was electric throughout all of pre-season. A brilliant player last year, scored many goals for us last year. And there is a debate to be had as to whether he's going to be taking up the striker role this season. Now, the reason I mentioned Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta is because, in my eyes, they were the players that we needed to build a team around. The players that, if I was David Moyes and I was Mark Noble or Tim Steidten and I was looking at our football team, I'd be thinking, right, they are absolutely nailed on to play for this football team. How can we build around them? Who would be the best partner in a midfield three to get them playing the best football? Who would play best between Paqueta and Declan Rice? Who would Paqueta play well in behind? What striker should we be getting to allow Lucas Paqueta to play the best football possible? Which wingers should we be looking at? Which fullbacks? Which goalkeeper is going to suit their style of play the most? What style of football is going to? What formation are we going to play to their strength? That's what I looked at when I saw Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta, the future of our football club. And of course, like I said, Declan Rice has left. This is old news. As of recording this video, it is Tuesday morning. Lucas Paqueta, there is a supposedly a fresh bid in for Lucas Paqueta. Obviously, fees have been agreed. Personal terms have been agreed with Manchester City. We're just waiting on the fee to see if that is okay. Mohamed Kudus, of course, may be coming as a replacement. Like I said, as of recording this, it is Tuesday morning. So by the time the video comes out, the situation may have changed. But as of right now, it looks pretty certain that Lucas Paqueta may be leaving West Ham United Football Club. And that leaves us with Jarrod Bowen. And obviously that's a brilliant problem to have because Jarrod Bowen is a brilliant player. He's somebody that we need to lock down on a contract, someone that, again, in my eyes, we need to build the team around. So with that in mind, David Moyes has said about moving Jarrod Bowen to a more central role. He's been impressed with his shooting, been impressed with the way he takes up the ball. He's a big fan of Cole Palmer as well, and David Moyes believes that if he can move Jarrod Bowen to that striker role, then he can put Cole Palmer in. And obviously, there is a role going in the striker department. Obviously, you've got Skamaka, who's already left. Antonio may be going to the Saudi League soon. I don't know if David Moyes trusts Danny Ings completely. So that is what he wants to do. He wants to move Jarrod Bowen to that more central role in a 4-3-3. Now, I've got two thoughts on this. Number one, I think that only works if you play him up top with a striker to play off. I don't think that works otherwise. We've seen him play striker before. When we're playing in lockdown and Antonio got injured, Jarrod Bowen did take that sort of central striker role. It's why Jesse Lingard took his position so high up the pitch. And at times Lingard as well took up that striker role. Jarrod Bowen didn't look like he sort of suited there. I think for me, with Jarrod Bowen, the reason he scores so many goals and the reason he's able to do what he does is because you've got a striker there to distract. If you think about the way football is played, you centre-backs play in the centre of the pitch, right? Centre-backs, it makes sense. You've got the striker in the middle of the pitch. One centre-back normally kind of sticks close to the striker, or they sort of play in that area. When you get someone like Jarrod Bowen coming in, who's an inside forward, and we've seen a lot of inside forwards prosper in the Premier League, the likes of Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, I even argue probably players like, Arjen Robben, who used to play. Inside forward is a very good role because it's hard to track players. If you're a fullback and you see Jarrod Bowen cut inside, do you go with him and then allow the fullback to have free reign of the right-hand side of the pitch? Do you hope that maybe your centre-back's going to pick him up? Did you set the CDM pick him up? It's quite an elusive thing. And also, if we're playing counter-attacking football and, we saw it in the final and you're, all of a sudden making a diagonal run coming across, the centre-backs are not ready on their toes to see that. So for me, that's why Jarrod Bowen works so well, is because you've got that striker to distract, is number one. And number two, because you're able to move in from the right-hand side, sometimes players just don't know what to do with you. And especially a player so quick like Jarrod Bowen, who can, take sort of take the ball and just run with it, and is able to slot it past the goalkeeper. It's so hard to be able to keep up with a player like that. So I think that's why he does so well, is because, like I say, playing off that right hand side, he's got not the element of surprise because you know he's going to do it, but it's just so hard to know in a football team which player is going to go. Do you stay with Jared Bowen? Do you come across as a right back and then leave the right hand side open? Hope your centre back comes to a cross. Like, it's such a difficult sort of conversation to be had in the middle of a game, to where it creates opportunities, and I think that's why he's done so well. You stick him at striker, all the focus is now on Jarrett Bowen. You're going to get a player man marking him. You're going to get a player in his face. He's not going to be able to go, in behind as much as he used to. And as much as I like his hold up play, I don't think his hold up play is suited for the middle of the pitch. He's better at getting out of tight areas and being able to shield the ball that way. He's not got the strength to be able to hold off a 6'4" centre back. So I understand why David Moyes wants to move it, and it makes sense. He's one of our top goal scorers. He's brilliant in front of goal. He's got all the makings of a decent striker, but I think it's this new modern thing in football where inside forwards. I mean, if you move Mo Salah to the striker role, I don't think he gets as many goals as he would on the right hand side. That's why, like I said, you don't know whether to come or go. It's such a hard position to mark an inside forward, and it's the same with Sadio Mane when he used to play for Liverpool as well. It's half the reason they play so well, because all the focus was coming on a player like Firmino, who was able to pull them into the game, that they just had sort of free run of the right and left hand side. So I don't think Jarrod Bowen should be a striker. However, and I'm going to do a video on this soon, I'm desperate for us to move to a 5-3-2 situation, because I think having a striker up top and then Jarrod Bowen, not necessarily central, but just to the right, just playing off, just behind the striker, I think would work really, really well, because you get that clinical finishing from him being in the centre of the pitch, and you'd also get the same elusiveness of being able to come in from the right and being able to, make that elusive run in behind. So that is something that I would love to see David Moyes do, is have two strikers up top and try and see if Jarrod Bowen can play off that striker. Now, obviously, in doing so, we'd create another problem for ourselves, because I think the whole idea of putting Jarrod Bowen up top is that we don't need to sign another striker. Our striker is already at West Ham United. His name's Jarrod Bowen. So if we were to have a 5-3-2 going and Antonio was to leave, or, Ings wasn't necessarily a player that we trust to do that, you then give yourself the issue of, we've got to go and sign another striker. So we're kind of creating we're creating a new solution, but it's the same problem, if that makes sense. So, like I said, I feel like we want Jarrod Bowen to go central to fill that void of not having a striker. Now, obviously, you've got Danny Ings, who I think he could play off. Antonio Mubama as well, someone I think deserves a good chance this season, but it's not something that Jarrod Bowen can play off. You've also got Maxwell Cornet. So I think we've got enough strikers at the club, or players who can play striker, to where we don't need to take Jarrod Bowen out of his natural position. He's scoring goals left, right, and centre. He's playing brilliant on the right-hand side of the pitch. Why would you want to change that? And I know the consensus is, well, we think he could do even better at striker. We think he could score more goals at striker. But, we don't tend to score many goals from the central areas of the pitch. Our striker doesn't tend to score too many goals for us. Antonio had that mad purple patch, but, our strikers don't tend to score many goals for us. And maybe it's just not our play style, or maybe it's just because other players tend to score more. But yeah, our main goals come from midfield and obviously Jarrod Bowen on the right-hand side. I still think we need to sign a striker this summer. My wish list would be someone like Armando Broja. But as far as Jarrod Bowen is concerned, I know he's played central for Hull before, and I know it's somewhere that David Moyes is keen for him to play, but I think we've done this before. We don't really want to recycle it. I'm not keen for him to play that striker role. What do you guys think? Do you think Jarrod Bowen can play striker for West Ham United? To be honest, like I said, I'm going with no. I think he's good on the right-hand side. I think it adds a lot to his game. I don't really want to see him go into that central role, and I think it's just going to disrupt the good sort of thing that he's going on at the moment. I don't want him to have to adapt when he's playing so well. I don't really see the point in that. But, let me know in the comments below. Do you think Jarrod Bowen should be West Ham's new striker this season? Like and subscribe. Like we said, we are giving away a home shirt every month this season. You have to be subscribed to the channel for that to happen. I believe now we're at 50-50 with subscribers. So 50% of you watching are not subscribed to the channel, and you really need to do so. So please subscribe to the channel. Hammers emoji in the chat. Let me know, Jarrod Bowen, striker or not. And and I'll see you in the next one.